Oh, yes, indeed. What a very good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And good morning, Liberia. Thank you so much for joining us this bright Wednesday morning. Of course, it is the May weekend. We'll have to say good morning wherever you join us from. Good evening, good night, depending on which part of the world you join us from this beautiful morning here in Liberia. Let us say good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Brush Morning Talk, the BMT. Of course, the Brush Morning Talk is our info breakfast companion show. It comes away every weekday between 8 up to 10 o'clock. Of course, we bring you the latest news and information trending from Liberia and elsewhere. So our first segment this morning, we're going to dialogue. We're going to discuss series of national issues. We're going to discuss about the issue of the issue of the resignation of Nima County Senator Prince Yomi Johnson on the Senate Committee on Judiciary, if you will, the Senate Committee on National Defense and Intelligence. We're going to look at that keenly this morning. We will also discuss key issues relating to the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court, and we'll be interspersing that discussion of the issue of the TRC recommendation and so forth. On the flip side of that, we'll take a look of the recent dismissal made by President Dr. George Maniwia. As may have heard, late yesterday, President Dr. George Maniwia dismissed the managing director of the Liberia that's Liberia Airport Authority, the LAA. Reverend Clay was dismissed on yesterday and quote unquote by the executive management for administrative reasons. Well, we're going to dive into that as well and several other key issues this morning. Again, we'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Brush Morning Talk. Of course, this is the spot, for the latest news and information. This is where we bring key issues to the national discourse to talk about the well-being, the governance processes of Liberia, and the final march of our nation as well. Again, today is July 7, the year remains 2021. It is a Wednesday morning here in Central Liberia. It is a very, very, very cool Wednesday morning here in Monroeville from where we sit, specifically the Garnersville Township area around the Chicken Soup Factory junction. And so this morning we are a team of presenters. I'm James Egerson Fokpa, and I got my colleague here.
Frank Pitt Martin.
And so together, Frank and I are going to bring you the very best on the Brush Morning Talk this morning. We urge you to be right there. Don't go. Stay tuned as our man Joshua Radis our controls and expected to produce this edition of the Breakfast Morning Magazine program. Let's go for a break. As we return, we can start discussion. But at 9 o'clock this morning, we're going to have in here our guest. We're going to have Baron Brown. He's the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade. He's going to talk to us on lots of issues in relations to the major opposition bloc in Liberia. What are they doing as the fight against COVID-19 intensify across the nation? As maybe aware, Liberia is grappled with the issue of combating the deadly and the novel coronavirus, the Delta variant. There are lots of cases, lots of hostages as well, lots of surges across the nation. And so we're going to have the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Baron Brown, here this morning. They're going to tell us exactly the dream, the vision of the opposition collaborating political parties and several other issues that are paramount to the well-being of our country. Let's go for this break. As we return, of course, we begin discussing key issues that are in relations to the fire march of our nation. We'll go for this break and be right back. So great. Welcome back to the Brush Morning Talk here on Brush FM 94.7 megahertz and Brush TV Live as well as SEM TV this morning. All of our platforms from which you use to monitor us. We'd like to say good morning, good evening, good night. Thank you for joining us on the BMT. And this morning, like we said, there are key national issues we're going to bring into. We're going to spotlight this morning. We're going to look at the issue of the fight against coronavirus. Is something that we're going to talk about regularly. Some of the update from the Ministry of Health in relations to cases, that are fatal in Bon County so far about 60 cases have been reported, and across the nation, there are several other cases coming up from separate parts of the country. We're going to dive into that and move forward with the issue of the establishment of the War in Economic Crimes Court, as well as the resignation of Senator Prince Johnson, who was chairing the Senate Committee on National Defense and Intelligence. Senator Johnson resigned yesterday due to what he called he needs to take a focus on the 2023 on his 2023 re-election. But this morning, Frank, how are you and how are you doing this morning?
James, thank you very much. I'm doing very great this morning, and then I think things that I'm cool this morning.
Great. So let's begin with the issue of the establishment of the War in Economic Crimes Code. This is something I've been lingering a bit, and it's been a while. They've been all around, Liberians from all sorts have been calling on the governor of Liberia through the national legislature to make sure that the issue of the War in Economic Crimes Code can be set up speedily, so that those who committed hideous crimes, those atrocities against humanity, they can be able to have their days in court, and that's been one side of it. There are others who are also rejecting the establishment of the War in Economic Crimes Code. There are pros and cons in the debate.
Can support them, to ensure that this code is established in our country, so people can face justice instead of going with impunity. I think it's important for us. I think that was one of the key reasons the American embassy sent a release when Senator Prince Johnson won on a web ballot at the legislatures to serve on that committee. I think they are one superpower, and they understand and know the meaning of democracy. Sure. You cannot have a democracy wherein justice is not prevailing. So I think it was from our backdrop that they published a release as they don't have trust in the leadership of the Senate because of electing Prince Johnson to serve on our committee. So I think it is important that every one of us support this endeavor for the good of the nations. Instead of us shouting and we're saying, when this happened, this would happen. But I think it's important that all of us, muster the courage to establish a court.
Okay, Frank. So let's get the U.S. Press statement. The U.S. Press statement on the election of Senator Johnson when Senator Johnson got elected. When he got elected on a web ballot to serve on the Committee on National Defense and Intelligence. This is what the U.S. government wrote. It says the U.S. embassy strongly condemns the election yesterday of notorious warlord Prince Yomi Johnson as chair of the Liberian Senate Committee on Defense and Intelligence. Senator Johnson's gross human rights violations during Liberia's civil wars are well documented. Let's try to analyze this gradually. The U.S. embassy strongly condemns the election yesterday of notorious warlord Prince Y. Johnson as chair of the Liberian Senate Committee on Defense and Intelligence.
So
that's the beginning.
James, I want you to look at. I want all of us to analyze the word. This phrase are well documented. Mm-hmm. So it feels that the American government follow every activities of Liberia.
Obviously,
irrespective of your political affiliations or whatsoever power you have, but the people follow us. They make sure that every activities in our countries are monitored.
Sure.
We have been monitoring this lawmaker for a very long time. So they have records on him. I think from this background, I have prejudice, but I think it is important that I resign to avoid problem, because if he remains in a position, I'm coming. If he remains in a position, it tells that these people who have been supporting our government from 1847 or from the establishment of this country will not be able to, support us.
But the first thing is the Liberian Senate was absolutely, I mean, irrational electing Senator Johnson to serve as chairman of that committee because there are sensitive issues right now in the country.
Oh, yes.
I mean, there are bulk of Liberians calling for the establishment of the World Economic Claims Court, and for any reason, if the World Economic Claims Court is established, Senator Johnson will be no exception to those who will definitely face justice. And now you heard the U.S. press statement back then saying, I mean, well documented. It means during the Liberian Civil War, all of the activities that went on, specifically those ones that Senator Johnson partook in. I mean, the U.S. state, the U.S. government have said, I mean, they have documented all of what occurred. And so, if for any reason the World Crimes Court is established, definitely they will be able to produce some of those evidences. So, I mean, those were some of the things, but the Senate, the Liberian Senate, the leadership of the Liberian Senate were absolutely, I mean, they were not looking at the demand of the Liberian people.
Look, James, these are problems we have in our country when it comes to leadership.
Mhm.
We have, in my opinion, we have not produced a BEX to go to the legislature. Those are the legislatures are problems for our country. How will you sit and elect somebody who committed a lot of crimes in our country?
No,
They serve on a very key position of key committees in the House.
that's a leadership committee.
Even we who are the electors who have been making mistakes,
Mhm.
electing people who are committed crimes in our country to serve in key positions. We have been making mistakes, and then that mistake have been repeated in the House.
Mhm.
Well, you see, people, somebody like Prince Johnson, I agree that he served on the committee before, but we cannot continue doing the same thing that we've been doing. How will it change?
That's a problem.
We are calling for change in this country. How will it change when we are continually repeating the same mistakes in the past? We cannot continue on that footing. I think Prince Johnson did well to resign. I am sure the pressure from the US and by the pressure from other precious groups that have made him to resign, and which is important, is key to our democracy.
Similar thing with just on the flip side of the issue of the War Crimes Code, here where we were discussing about the issue of Senator Johnson. On the flip side of that, the Economic Crimes Code, the US said, we note as well the continuation of Councilor Vonnie Sherman, session by the US Department of the Treasury, that's Department of Treasury for corruption involving judicial bribery. So you see, I mean, you have Senator Vonnie Sherman of Grand Cape Mount County, who has been sessioned by the US Department of Treasury for judicial bribery, and you will have him heading the Liberian Senate Committee on Judiciary. That's a slap in the face of the US and the Liberian citizens as well.
Oh yes. I think that's the same thing I've been saying. We don't have to be letting the same, we don't have to keep on doing the same thing.
Mhm.
If we continue on that footing, we won't go anywhere. We will not go anywhere. So we have to change the dynamics by doing the best things. Even those at the legislature, they have to be bold. They should not be the federal police because maybe they have big names. No.
Mhm.
Why would he elect somebody who have been, caught in a corruption scandal on a very key, committee in the House?
Mhm.
I think we have to look at some of these things. People in the House, please, we're begging you people. You have to be very wise in taking decisions that will affect the country. You can't be letting people who have been, involved in a lot of dubious activities in our country, and then they are serving on key positions. How do you expect the country to move forward?
That's the problem. That's just the problem, Frank. Because I mean, it sends out negative signal about our country. We cannot, Liberians cannot be demanding the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Code. Then we get our leadership at the Liberian Senate, a house we call the House of Errors, where we expect people to be very rational, to be far-sighted in decisions they take. But it was very unfortunate that the Liberian Senate elected Councilor Vonnie Sherman to chair the Judiciary Committee, a committee that is very, very key. The issue of interpretation of the rule of law. The Judiciary Committee, someone who has been sanctioned by the US Department of Treasury, you make him to serve as chairman on judiciary at the level of the Liberian Senate. A man who quote unquote has committed a lot of atrocities against humanity. We're talking about the establishment of World Crimes Code. It was in that period that Liberian Senate when he elected Senator Prince Johnson to chair National Defense and Intelligence. I mean, it sounds hilarious. When the majority of Liberians are demanding the establishment of World Economic Crimes Court, then do those who are allegedly involved with these acts, you continue to elevate them. That's why the US says we believe that the Liberian Senate will see it as man rational to elevate Senator Prince Johnson and Councillor Vani Boto Sherman. I mean, this is something that we all need to look at very keen. We can continue to increase the ring of some of these people.
Look, if we continue to do some of these things, it tells us that it signifies that we are encouraging corruption. We are encouraging crimes in our country. That's what that's what it tells.
Mhm.
Because if you take somebody like Prince Johnson and put on a very key committee, somebody like Vanin Boto Shaman and put on a very key committee, how do you expect the issue of impunity? How do you expect the issue of justice to prevail in our country? Because that man served on the judicial committee. He have an influence.
Sure.
So do you expect war crime to come in the country or economic crime to come in the countries when you have somebody like Vanin Boto Shaman serving on such a committee where he has been involved in a corruption scandal? You do not expect that because he has influence.
Sure.
Oh yes.
And for me, right after the election of Senator Johnson to chair the Senate Committee on National Defense and Intelligence, I mean, I was very astonished. I was astonished because I expected the Liberian Senate to do better. We expected Liberian senators to have known better. I mean, it doesn't require someone coming to you to tell you that this is wrong. You know very well it's wrong.
Oh yes.
Do we anticipate the U.S. president before we know that Senator Johnson should not be elected to serve such position?
And one thing I observed is that if the U.S., I believe, if the U.S. would have come up with that statement, I think Prince Johnson would still be in a position.
Sure.
He wouldn't have resigned because the pressure from the U.S. embassy made him to resign, not the Liberian government or not the citizens in the country's pressures. No.
Frank, let's get this paragraph clear. This is the paragraph that made Senator Johnson to resign. It says, the U.S. government is proud of our long-standing partnership with the Ministry of National Defense and the Armed Forces of Liberia, which will continue, but we can have no relationship with Senator Johnson. How? What does that suggest? Diplomatically, you don't expect the U.S. government to say, we will not work with Liberia. But in other words, they were saying, once Senator Johnson continues to head, the judiciary, that's the National Defense and Intelligence Committee, we have no dealing with it. Now, how does that work? The chairman, we're talking about one who is chairing the committee.
Exactly.
And then the U.S. is saying, we are not working with the chairman, but we are working with the government. That's a diplomatic statement.
No, that it sounds very funny.
Sure.
It's serious because you cannot separate Prince Johnson from the government.
Sure.
Because he's serving on a very key committee. So it's indirectly implied that we will not work with the Liberian government.
Frankly.
Because Prince Johnson is serving on a committee, and then you can't tell me that you're not with Prince Johnson when Prince Johnson is serving on the committee on national defense. So it tells that you are not going to work with a security sector of our country, which is very bad for us. It's very bad for us because the U.S. government of recent been supporting our army. George Manning Weir, that from democracy and start playing politics with our country,
Definitely, Frank. I
which
mean,
is wrong.
so wrong, absolutely wrong. You see, there's no need. The issue of atrocities, the issue of atrocity against humanity is something that the entire world, something is not just a Liberian thing. So the call for the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Code, like you said, is going to be a very serious boost to this government. If the government must make sure, if she does everything possible to have the World Economic Crimes Code established, it means automatically Liberia has get on the right trajectory. I mean, if for any reason there are allegations that John Brown took the 2 million misappropriated, you face the economic crimes code. If you are found guilty of that act, you restitute those funds to our country.
Oh yeah, oh yes.
You restitute those funds to our country, they be redirected to
national budget.
Definitely. I mean, there are lots of issues current. The issue of the coronavirus pandemic. There are lots of people that have bleed the Liberian economy. They have caused multiple damages.
Look, James, if we cannot set precedent in our country, this thing will continue to happen. I don't think this government, you think that particularly President George Manneh Weah, should not think that if war and economic crime could be established in a country, in his first regime, he will not be re-elected. I don't think so. I do agree, Senator Johnson have been a driving force behind electing leaders in our country,
Sure.
dating from 2005 to 2017, when he supported Madam Salif. After the first round, I think she won.
Sure.
2017, when he supported then Senator Weah, president now, he won, right? I think these are some sticky points.
Sure.
Some sticky issues. These are variables the government trying to weigh.
Politics that number.
Yes. And
Nima is a vote-rich county.
Of course,
that is a factor that you cannot underestimate.
Of course. You cannot, underestimate the vote from Nima. And then the government is thinking that if we allow we'll allow Senator Johnson to, be prosecuted, I think the Nimbanians will not support us. I don't see it so.
Frank, there are lots of serious issues in this country that needs to be talked about over and over and again. Until some of these things are done, our country will continue to be what it is. The issue of the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Code. There's a passionate appeal to the government of Liberia. Forget about the issue of the politics. Forget about that. In 2005, the CDC also used that slogan, the issue of those who have committed atrocities against humanity, to make sure that it face justice. Frank, if you open a line right now, there are thousands of people that are going to call and tell you how they were treated during the course of the Liberian Civil War.
So the way you're saying, I can remember before the election, 2017, the CDC, the Congress for Democratic Change, was all around here, said we want justice, we want prosecution, we want this and that. I think from that direction, some Liberians were convinced that this is a very serious matter. Political parties, when it comes to power, they will make sure that some of these things they are saying will be implemented.
Sure.
But since then, I think the president relies in the purviews of the legislature, the citizen, to push for the establishment of war crime code. But as chief executive of our country, he has some influence.
Sure enough.
No one should sit and say that the president don't have anything to do with that. He left with the legislature, that with the citizens to push for this and that. Well, I think the president have influence, and then he have interests. That was some of us who are critical, analysts continue to see. He have an interest, and that interest is Nima.
Definitely. That's the hard truth about it. There's no other reason for which the president don't want, or the government don't want, because the government is seeking re-election 2023. That is absolutely clear. This is no secret. In Nima County is the second vote-rich county in Liberia. Nima has a very good population.
Exactly so.
And so, Prince Johnson, if you follow his strong record per election, whoever he supports in Nima automatically becomes the winner.
Yeah.
Since
So,
2005,
I
there
think,
have been no Kennedy Senator Johnson has supported Nima that have lost.
I think besides supporting Nima and supporting Kennedy, I think his support to Kennedy for vying for the presidency have also shown a very huge result in weight. I think that's the reason I continue to say, President, we are continue to hack on this whole thing about war and economic crack code. Just imagine when they went Nima for the country tour. President Weir and Prince Johnson, went across the country. He was acting like a godfather of the country, which of course it is true. But not because you are godfather of a particular region, then justice will not prevail in our country. No. Mr. President, we are calling on you. If even this issue will make you only have a first turn, let the record be set. We are Liberians, we are calling on you on a daily basis that we want justice. Blood was shared in this country. Not only Senator Johnson alone who committed some of these crimes.
Sure enough.
There are a lot of people. Even Madame Salih.
Sure.
That she contributed something. And when you contribute to crime, you also commit crime.
Yeah, sure.
So not only Senator Johnson alone in the whole thing. There are a lot of Liberians who committed crime. Some of them are being in Ezra who were arrested also and prosecuted. Therefore, the same should be done in our country. Not only said, at the back and said, no, this is our interest, this is CDC interest, but this is like when you come to power, for the masses, for a certain group of people. You understand that? Not for a certain group of people, but for the Liberian people. That one make you the president. We are calling on this morning, Mr. President, Senator Johnson has resigned. He knows full well that he's doing the wrong thing. He knows full well that he has done wrong to the country. Let him face justice.
Absolutely. The issue of justice is something that we can talk and even talk about it more. Because I mean, as the country stands right now, if you look at what is happening, there are lots of people that are traumatized, from some of the occurrences during the Liberian Civil War. And up to present time, the issue of justice hasn't prevailed. I think this is the time. There have been lots of argument why they didn't do it. Nothing is belated. It can be done.
No, nothing.
It can be done. There is a serious need that the government established the War and Economic Crimes Code. They're going to help also to restitute some of our monies that were illegally taken by some group of people.
I think the issue of the economic crime will also make senators elect from Lofa County.
Yes, and
Samuka. I think these are reasons why Samuka, going to the Senate has still been hanging because he did something.
Sure.
Which he have to face justice before. He had to face justice rather before going to the Senate. And the government calling on him to restitute whatsoever he took from the AFL cover. I think it's very key. These are 14 we want to see in our country. When you say you're going to the legislature, you will not go there, then your head bend down. But you will go to the legislature, with your hair high up. When you speak with authority. Look at the U.S. Congress. For instance, there are a lot of credible guys in the Congress.
Sure.
They are not afraid to speak because they got clean record. But if you don't have any criminal, what are you going to say before your colleagues? When you have, you are committed a lot of dubious, act in our country. What are you going to tell the people before, or what are you going to tell your police? And I'm sorry, some of them will be posting in the legislatures arguing. Arguing what? What are you going to bring to the table? People that are burning Samuka. You got some of these issues against you. What are you going to bring to the table to discuss?
The issue of integrity.
The issue of integrity. Are you killing me?
I mean, there's a serious need that the government maximize our effort in establishing these codes. They are very helpful to our nation. I don't want people to see this as a witch hunt. This is not a witch hunt. The code will not be established for an individual. The code will be established for those who perpetrated war crimes. It is not an individual. So I don't want somebody to think that maybe the setting of the court is meant to target an individual. No, it is not meant to target an individual. It is meant to sensitize our nation. It is meant to restore those things that are missing. There are people right now that still have those issues. Many Liberians are still traumatized from the Liberian Civil War. Some of those who were present on the scene, their loved ones, relatives, they were murdered in their presence. Those who committed these atrocities, some of them are still not expressing remorse. That's what the U.S. said. They said they are hiding from accountability. They don't want to be accountable. They don't want to express any remorse. They go ahead and buzz. They go ahead and buzz and say, we did it because we wanted to save our people. That is absolutely wrong. There are lots of them. The Joshua Milton Bly. He's an evangelist right now. But then he used to be called General Bodnicki.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
I mean, those are people that committed lots of atrocities. But for General Bodnicki, he said he's winning. When the court is established, he will make himself available.
No, one thing too is Prince is not denying that he's not willing. Prince said when the court comes, he will face justice.
Okay.
But he's doing something undercover.
He's managing.
He continues to be like somebody who is very smart, playing around the government. You know that he's a kid member now in a CDC.
Sure.
Because his political party is aligned with the CDC. Because he wants to protect his interests.
Frankly.
So if he not with the CDC now and he with the CPP, I think it would have been a different case. Let me real. If you see Prince Johnson now, maybe with the CPP for his sake, don't you think the government will take action? They will.
They will. They will. Definitely they will. For the fact that you draw a line, I mean, something must be established. And the government will at the end of the day threaten you with the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Court. At the time you will see some of those citizen legislators taking the debate.
Oh, yes.
The issue of World Crime Court is a matter of must.
Where is Akaras Grace in this issue?
Man.
Akaras Grace.
The main great land. So you expect great to talk anything about that. And Grace is watching. He's watching the Liberian people for now.
So if the Congress in the US, if they can just dedicate, if they can only dedicate, or if they can dedicate a time to discuss the issues in Liberia, then what will the legislature? Though they have been discussing it, but they have been discussing it, in my view, with seriousness.
Okay.
There is no seriousness attached to this in the legislature because they know their police are involved. But look at how the issue was discussed in the Congress. By Representative Smith and others.
Man.
You see. So let us be serious here. Let us be serious to the point that yes, indeed, Liberia is a serious country. If we are not serious, nothing good will happen here.
Sure enough. We need to be very serious. The issue of our country is something that we can talk about over and again. And it's not just about talking, but those policy icons can be able to listen as well, to make some amendment in their thoughts. Because, I mean, these issues we're talking here, they are all beneficiary to our nation.
Oh, yes.
There are thousands of Liberians, even if you conduct a survey right now, majority of Liberians, they are yearning for the establishment of the World Economic Crimes Court. So now that we have elected, those people, the Constitution says power is inherent in the people. The decision of the people must be regarded. It must be respected to the fullest.
Oh, yes.
When the people say establish World Economic Crimes Court, I mean, do the Liberian people due diligence. Take all of the necessary measures, that are going to make sure that the court is established and the court functions normally. Not to be after individuals, but to go after those who have perpetrated war crimes. Make sure, make those hard policies that are going to guard the court. Not to break down the court, but to give the court the authority to prosecute. If that is done, you're going to see people who stole from this country. You're going to see them restitute our money.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Many days we say budget shuffle. When will this nation experience budget surplus? When people in leadership continue to enrich themselves. If this court is established, You know that, Frank, if you take dime from here, we take you to court. If you go to court and found guilty, you restitute that amount. It is directed to developmental initiatives.
Exactly so.
And definitely the country gets on path. It is not an issue of the war crimes alone, but the economic crimes go as key as well. There's a need that the government establish these both codes. Make sure that these codes are effective. They are effectively run. They are accurate.
What influence?
Definite vote of influence. Whoever is connected to whoever is connected, to causing atrocities, to taking lives away, make sure that they are accountable for their actions.
I think James will have to open the lines to hear from some Liberians regarding this issue.
Definitely. And so, folks, you're listening to the Brush Morning Talk. That's the BMT here on the Brush Communications Network, Brush FM 94.7 megahertz, Brush TV Live, and SEM TV as well. If you want to form part of the conversation this morning, you can call us on 0776 360979. Again, 0776 360979. 0776 360979. 0880 346169. 0776 360979. 080-346169. Good morning. What's the name, sir? Where have you called from?
Yeah, I'm just calling from Corey.
Go ahead. Lower down your monitor. I just called well this morning.
Something that probably want to discuss this evening. But to be bold with you, the particular work control, the formula to make out of policy. Because to be bold with you, probably will not somehow work control for Lima. You're going to get a huge vote from one after. And what is going to work control for Jerry? The things will fall into it and the money will not get support. So it's not a political, the whole work control issue.
Okay, but do you firstly support the establishment of the War Crimes Code?
Come in.
Do you support the establishment of the War Crimes Code?
The government establishing the War Crimes Code is responsible for it.
Do you support the establishment? Do you support? Lower down your monitor, sir. Oh my God! I was asking him as to whether he's interested in having a War Crimes Code established. But you can call us on 0776 360979. Again, 0776 360979. 0880 346169. Are the numbers this morning to have you forming part of the Brush Morning Talk, the BMT, right here on Brush FM 94.7 megahertz, Brush TV Live, and SEM TV, respectively. Lower down your monitor. What's the name, sir? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's the name and where have you called from? Okay, so let's hear you on the issue of lower down your monitor, sir. Just walk away from the monitor a bit.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear your input this morning. Much better. Go ahead. Let's hear your input.
Yeah, I'm calling from West Ham, John Samura.
Go ahead. What's your contribution?
Yeah, I saw my. Hello?
Good morning, you live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't support the War Crimes Code coming to Liberia because right now the War Crimes Code guys, because the War Crimes Code is going to get from the one issue. Most of we are suffering in this country. I see right now the people around taking jobs, smoking, passing around. This is because it's like no War Crimes Code. So the people up there, and you are paying attention to us, we are down here. You want to see that they are already committed the crime and then we put it into the town. So they are going to fall for all that 3,000 and the green man that we know. So I support the War Crimes Code to come to this country. That's my one this morning. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. 0776 360979. 0776 360979. 080-346169. The numbers this morning to form part of the Brush Morning Talk. Remember, the BMT is here every weekday morning between 8 or to 10, of course. We make it our business always to sit in here to bring you those issues that are paramount to the far margin of Liberia. Again, 0776 36. Good morning, sir. What's the name? Good morning. Good morning. You got to shake up a bit. I mean, you're coming through broken. Good morning. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to change your location and phone in 0776-360-979, 0776-360-979, 080-346-169. The numbers this morning to have you on the Brush Morning Talk. We take into consideration the establishment of the War on Economic Crimes Code in the country. We support the establishment. Why? I mean, these are issues we're looking at this morning. Call us on 0776-360-979. Lower down your monitor. Lower down your monitor. Good morning. What's the name and where have you called from?
Yeah, I come here.
We're doing pretty well, sir. What's the name?
My name is April. I'm calling from the Kettle Boulevard.
Go ahead, AB. Let's hear you.
Yeah, well, the World Cup call will have to be respected when it comes to Liberia. So let the World Cup call come. I in support of it.
Okay, AB. Thank you for forming part of the conversation this morning.
Okay, welcome.
Great. 0776-360-979, 080-346-169. Very shortly at 9 o'clock, we anticipate having in the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Byron Brown. He's going to sit here to talk on lots of national issues in relations to the major opposition bloc in our country, that's the collaborating political parties. So Byron Brown will be here, but just before that, Frank, we're going to take a look a bit at the dismissal of the managing director of the Liberia Airport Authority, the LAA. I mean, President Dr. George Manning, we are on yesterday with immediate effect dismiss the managing director of the Liberia Airport Authority for administrative reasons.
I think he was dismissed yesterday, but the reason justified by the president, I don't think is enough.
Okay.
Because sources informing us are saying that he did not agree on certain policies that the government wanted to be implemented at the airport.
Okay.
We are informed there are some Jordan companies that want to, take full control of the airport, which he's saying no. The same thing happened with the Freeport.
Okay.
The Freeport in Monrovia, where you have a different company managing the airport, the APN terminal, and so forth. I think this has an agreement they want to, enter into, and which the managing director said, no, Mr. President, I don't think this is healthy for our country.
Okay.
But I informed he resigned before, he was dismissed.
Wow. and his resignation wasn't public.
Yeah, it wasn't actually published, But we are told he resigned because he did not agree, because there were a series of meetings, here, and then he said, no, Mr. President, I don't think it's healthy for us. We cannot,
Yeah, so Frank, let's go there. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. This is Fred, and we did it. Live on the Catholic Boulevard.
Go ahead, Fred. Let's hear you, Chief.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear this morning. I want to learn this morning in all of things to talk to our president this morning concerning about the war crime folk in the report abroad. I'm a bona fide member of CDC Coalition Democratic Teams of the report abroad. And then we were center of the Manufacturing country. We were expecting for the war crime code to be established, but we never allowed. The second time they didn't allow us to get our war crime code to be established in Liberia. But now we are in power. We need a war crime code to come to Liberia because we are suffering. So our president be elected. The people that he voted there, they are there. They are supporting us too much. So that the war crime code comes to Liberia and abuse and the president to honor us. What they were doing, we just wait for nothing, we can't get anything. They are just want to grow up yesterday and just take from me that year, you other go sit there and free them up. Don't wait for us to talk. But when it comes to what when you do it, we grab you, you go bad punishment, you will never do it again no more. That will never be help for all in your country here.
So
thank you very much for all the media this morning.
Yeah, before you leave, what your opinion on the establishment of the economic crown code too?
Hello?
Yeah, before you leave, what your own opinion on the establishment of the economic crown code?
Yeah, the war square and the economic square could be established in Liberia. Now we accept it. Now we sign the document.
Okay, Chief. Thank you. Thank you this morning for your view on the Brush Morning Talk. We do appreciate you a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Great, and we got 9 minutes up to 9 o'clock this morning, and shortly at 9 o'clock we anticipate.
We need the establishment of the war square in the country. Otherwise, the country will not be strict.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much.
So,
Thank you very much.
James, like what I was saying, this is dismissal of Bishop Clyde. I don't think McClay, rather. I don't think, in my view, it was right if he refused to sign or to accept the agreement that the Liberian chief executive was breaking before him. Because I think we cannot, give our economy to foreigners through. Liberians should be the one to, take over the economies of our country.
That's wow. Good boy. Yeah, the phone is. I mean, the feedback is absolutely bad.
I think our line this morning is actually busy.
We got many persons.
Yeah, many persons have interest in the establishment of the World Economic Ground Code.
Definitely. And so we are setting efforts this morning, but I mean, you were in words about the dismissal of the LAA boss.
So I think the president in 2018 January, when he was inaugurated, he said Liberia will not be spectators in the African economy. I think these are words that Bishop Tai continue to hold on to. And Mr. President, I don't think we should give this airport to foreigners. It is better that we ourselves manage this airport. It will give us more income than giving it to somebody to manage it. So like with somebody renting from you, I earn more, I pay something to you, pay something, but it is better yourself, you live in your house sometimes.
Sure enough.
So it is better that we ourselves, as citizens, as government, manage, our own, institution instead of giving it to foreigners. So I think Mr. Bishop Clyde was right. If he sent in a resignation ahead of a dismissal, I think that was the best decision.
That was the best decision. Was 6 minutes, folks, and at this juncture now we're going to have a musical break. We're going to follow a musical break right here on the Brush Morning Talk. But those of you
and before the musical break, our colleagues, Francis Kwekwe, one of the editors of the Saklan newspapers and one of our legislative bureau chief, had his birthday today. So I think we have to play a birthday song for him this morning. James, we have to play a birthday song for him this morning, to celebrate him as one of our stars and one of our powerful reporters here at the Brush Communications Network and the PMR. So I think we can have a little music for him this morning, and then before we can maybe usher in our guests.
Definitely, we want to say happy birthday to you, man, Francis Kwekwe. Have yourself a wonderful birthday, bro. Enjoy yourself and keep cool.
And then I think after the show, we have to reach somewhere around Parambe Junction where.
Definitely. But remember, as you continue in the celebration of your birth anniversary, remember to follow the prescribed health protocols by the Ministry of Health. Very shortly, like we told you, we're going to have the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Chairman Byron Brown. You're going to be here. We're going to talk lengthily on issues of national concerns. We want you to be right there as we go for this musical break on the PMT. To be right back.
So everybody come living all day. We the advice you say, any walk where you the walk, get you put your mind there. walk and fight fight. Make you now dey talk like, make I yes be yes. You know me know, then you go live well for this world. Hey, hey, hey. So God bless you, give you long life, give you many days again. So God will bless you, give you long life, give you many days again. Say thanks for you, happy birthday to you. You will live long, for say thanks to you. We beg you to be happy birthday to you.
Morning. Welcome back to the BMT here on the Brush Communications Network, Brush FM 94.7 megahertz, Brush TV Live, and SEM TV, respectively. Wherever you join us from this morning, it is with pleasing pleasure. We'd like to welcome you back to the presentation this morning. Like we told you, at 9 o'clock this morning, we hope to have the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Chairman Baron Brown. And this morning is unfortunate that we will not have Chairman Baron Brown in studio, but we'll speak to him via telephone due to some other reasons this morning. So we want you to be right there. We'll go straightly to the line now to speak to the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Baron Brown, is our guest on the Brush Morning Talk this morning. We're going to talk from here up to 10 o'clock strictly on the issues of national concerns. Good morning, Baron. How are you this morning?
Good morning, my friend and brother, and I want to say good morning to your co-host, your many listeners. First FM is one of the best stations in this town, and I have that explicit confidence that this station will be second to none, and the independence of this station will be unquestionable. So thank you for the invite, and I want to apologize, that I could not make it on your platform in spirit due to traffic, but it's okay.
Great. So, Baron, let's go strictly to business. How is the CPP Solidarity Brigade?
Well, the CPP Solidarity Brigade is on course, and it is the biggest auxiliary group in the CPP. It is a non-violent auxiliary group or a radical group that has men and women who have integrity, and the brigade is on course.
Strictly, let's go to national issues this morning. The CPP is here to conduct primary. What's the stance of the brigade? In the issues, because the ANC, as a political party has her own political leader. The Unity Party has her own political leader, and the Liberty Party has her own political leader. There have been claims and counter claims surrounding who becomes the standard bearer of the CPP. What's the stance of the brigade?
If you read the framework of the CPP, the other established the CPP, it says that if the need arises, we'll have a consensus vote or candidate. Not only that, if we cannot have a consensus candidate, there will be a primary or we'll have a VP. And all of the political leaders, they are competent. And our position here, and many of the listeners, some of them who are CPP members, help me that whoever that wins the primary of the CPP or that is selected to run up stand bearer on the ticket of the CPP, the brigade will have no option but to support that identical individual. So to the best of my knowledge, our political leaders, they are competent, and no matter who is in the CPP, Congress has his right to project himself, to tell the Liberian people that he wants to be standard bearer of the CPP. It doesn't matter. On Yuri, on Joseph Blanca, and Kanga Orange, they don't have the right to project themselves. In the way, we are going to have a hearing for the CPP, and we will win Georgia. That's what I can say. So now, you don't want to jump the gun, but when the time comes, I'm going to present a candidate Liberian people.
Okay, so Baron, as maybe we are informed that there are 4 persons who, go into the primary. What will be your stance as individual? Where you stand? Not as leader of the CPP brigade.
No, I'm the leader of the CPP Solidarity Brigade. There's no way I can come up with my own position that will not represent the brigade. I believe in the doctrine of institution. I am an institutionalist. So I cannot tell you that I prefer this candidate. To the best of my knowledge, all the candidates, they are qualified. So when we go to the primary, or if there's a consensus vote, the brigade will definitely support that individual. The brigade is like a fulcrum. We are just in the middle.
Okay.
It doesn't matter which political party you come from. The fact that you are a member of the CPP, you are a member of the CPP Solidarity Brigade as already. So I cannot come on your show to tell you that my comments will not represent the brigade. Or doesn't it? No, it will be disingenuous. So for now, I want to tell the public that I don't have. I believe in all of the political leaders. Once the time comes, will definitely present one of them as the best.
But I think you would be, evaluating some of the candidates who are in a race, actually, who you think, are very competent and qualified to steer the affairs of the state. Have you been going around to convince some of your colleagues, to maybe rather support and, support one of the candidates maybe of your interest?
All of our leaders are qualified and competent. When the time comes, we'll present a candidate. That's what I can stop.
Okay, Baron, there are lots of national issues trending, I guess, been following the debate for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. What's the stance of the CPP Solidarity Brigade?
Your line is breaking up. I didn't get you.
I'm saying there are lots of national issues trending, specifically the call for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. What's the stance of the CPP Solidarity Brigade on this matter?
By the way, the CPP has spoken. Our political leaders, they have given a position on the issue of establishing war crimes court in our country. And I'm one of the lead campaigns. There can be no perfect peace in a country in the absence of justice. We experienced 50 years of civil crisis in our country. There were Liberians, harmless babies who got killed. Our mothers were raped. Our boys were sodomized in this country. Today, most of the warlords, they are in government. They are key decision makers in the system. So the CPP is on record. A few weeks ago, the political leader of the ALP, on Benanayu, had a press conference. He also called on the United States government to intervene, calling on the government of Liberia to establish war crimes. Honorable comments, Senator Dale, Joseph Bwanka, the Unity Party had a press conference. So our position here is, we are calling on Georgia, and that's a decision, and we backed it. There's already a group supports that. Georgia should muster the courage to establish war crimes court in this country. He needs to give into that. And from the angle of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, we are clear. If the president cannot muster the courage to be one of the lead campaigns, in the coming weeks, when this epidemic has subsided, the brigade is going to stage a protest in front of the U.S. Embassy in order to mount pressure on Georgia to give in to the establishment of war crimes court. Here's the fear of Georgia. Georgia doesn't want to give in to this war crimes court thing because he feels that if that happens, Senator Brian Johnson will not turn Nima County over to him, because Nima County, it is populated, and to some extent, Brian Johnson controls Nima County. So that's where the delay tactic comes from. We have clips where Senator Brian Johnson mounted a podium in his church and said that the fact that Georgia is in power, there will be no war crimes court established in Liberia. So we are saying, Georgia should listen to the cries of the Liberian people. The country is bigger than an individual. We cannot live in a, and by the way, when they were in opposition, they canvassed for this. The current chairman of the CDC, Moba Molu, he was one of the lead campaigners. They were bashing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you know, in their words that she didn't want to establish war crimes court in the country. So what is stopping Joshua? When Joshua went to the United Nations General Assembly, he made a commitment to the world that he was going to give into the establishment of war crimes court. The moment he touched the soil of Liberia, he asked the Liberian people, war crimes court and development, which one you want? It was an affront to the Liberian people. But now, so our position here, we are saying, if Joshua cannot get into the establishment of war crimes court in our country, we, from the angle of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, we are going to call on the U.S. government to place at least 10 sanctions, smart sanctions. I'm jealous that Galima was smart sanctions on the government of Liberia.
Baron, please hold on small. How soon will you start calling on the U.S. government, and how soon will your protest begin?
We are just waiting right now. We have this pandemic, this coronavirus, crisis, and we cannot have a mass gathering.
Okay.
So we have put aside our political differences. We are working together in order to beat this identical virus. And after it shall have subsided, we are going to take on to that struggle. There will be a general assembly, peaceful assembly,
okay,
in order to mount President Georgia to establish war crimes court in our country.
Baron, others are saying that if this war crime court establishment issue, and Senator Prince Johnson who have been on your side, the CPP side, you wouldn't have been pushing for this. What's your response?
Don't mind perception. That's human perception, and you cannot do nothing about that. If our political leaders are calling for, we are on record. Senator Dayton, he was not senator of Monserrado County. He was a member of the Liberty Party. Unity Party was in government when he started pushing for war crimes court.
No, but Baron, but then when Unity Party was in government, even some of the guys who are calling for the establishment of the court were not, calling for the court. So these are reasons why others are saying, people are more Ali. They were in government. They were not calling for the establishment of war crimes court. And a lot of, colleagues. Are you getting us?
Hello?
Yeah, Baron,
yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay. So people like Mo Ali and other colleagues, even the Joseph Newman Boakai, I am sure he's supporting this because Prince Johnson is not on his side.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm not here to speak for individual. I'm speaking on behalf of my institution. I have said this. From the angle of the CPP, we are calling for war crimes court. Aside from that, individuals have their own, let's say, a way of doing things. You can be in the CPP and have their own, view. Your views should not be discredited. But the institution, we are following the mandate of the institution and the mandate of the Liberian people. So what I just said, I want you to take it as law and gospel. That's the position of the CPP.
Now, Baron, I overhear you talking about the president of Liberia is not wanting, to have the war and economic crimes court established. And Baron, as a matter of fact, the president did a communication to the Liberian Senate, asking that August body to make some input, guidance as well to the issue of the establishment. Don't you see this as a help in the process as well?
It was a waste of time, complete trash, complete waste of time. And the president is not going to waste our time here. The TRC recommendations are there. We've been down the line for at least 13 to 14 years debating this whole issue of the war crimes court. So why would you want to tell war a document to a few lawmakers to scrutinize that? Look, the president of this country if Joshua is serious, let me tell you something. The president is so powerful. The presidency has weight. If Joshua really wants for this war crime school to be established in our country, he will not be delaying this thing. Why were you send document to lawmakers to give that input before we get given the establishment of war crime school? It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, Barrow, are you not trusting the
congressional leaders, the U.S. congressional leaders are saying, world leaders are saying, the only thing that they want for Georgia to do is to consent. The money aspect, it will be taken care of by our friends, our counterparts, our international counterparts. So it's a complete waste of time. It's a complete waste of time.
Well, I mean, you call that a waste of time, Baron, but there are lots of complications in establishing a World Economic Crimes Court, ranging from, you know very well, the Constitution is very explicit in that. It says the Supreme Court is the higher arbiter of justice in our nation. And so there are lots of complications establishing the World Economic Crimes Court. I mean, the decision of the World Economic Crimes Court, does that surpass, what comes from the Supreme Court?
So why are you driving?
Are you waiting to amend portion of the Constitution to have these courts established?
What do you mean by amend portion of the Constitution?
The decision, the Constitution is very clear. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter of justice in Liberia. And so if you will be establishing one economic crimes court, I mean prosecuting those who are perpetrated atrocities during the course of the Liberian Civil War. I mean, do you
Liberia is a signatory to international protocol.
Sure.
For example, Sierra Leone has a constitutional court. Sierra Leone is guarded by a constitution. But the Sierra Leonean government, like Rwanda, and the rest of the countries that experience war, they have constitution. But due to international pressure, not only international pressure, but because of war that went on in our countries, they gave into this war crimes court matter. So why will you bring in a debate about the Constitution? How are we circumventing the Constitution of Liberia? We are not. Even the Constitution supports that. It calls for justice. It calls for justice. And this is an international matter. So you have to know this. Liberia is not an island. So our colleagues in the international fora, they want for this to happen. Even Liberians are calling for this. They are craving for that. So why were you talking about Constitution? When the Constitution says Liberians must be protected, the Constitution forbids brutality. The code that you want to talk about, it forbids that. It forbids injustice. It forbids the use of killing people. So what Constitution are you talking about? So let me tell you something. In the coming days, we are going to mount severe pressure. We will mount severe pressure on Joshua. And we are going to make his life politically. Now, I love to pick my words. Politically, we are going to make his life miserable in the interest of this country. Joshua must give in to this. It is beyond his control. And if he refuses, we are going to call on the international community to place sanctions upon sanctions on Georgia.
How long will your
justice?
Yeah, how long will your people's protest last for? Will it be like
now we have not started. The leadership will need, like I said, we want for this epidemic to subside. And after that, we'll come to the public, a press conference will be held, and we'll tell the Liberian people where we are.
Well, folks, this morning our guest on the Brush Morning Talk is the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Baron Brown. He's on the line this morning telling us detail about their own operations in the country as a auxiliary group to the collaborating political parties. You hear him talking about the issue of the establishment of the War Crime Code and other several issues as well. But Baron, as we be aware, Liberia is grappling with the issue of COVID-19. What are you guys doing from the end of the CPP Solidarity Brigade in making sure that the issue of the health protocols are strictly adhered to? What are you doing as well in making sure that you augment efforts, buttressing government's effort in making sure that COVID-19 gets away?
We are taking to social media. You see, the current opposition that you have is responsible. We are not irresponsible people. We are taking to social media, conscientizing our people how to be mindful. And from the angle of the CPP, our political leader, two of our political leaders, Benena Yuri and Jose Nyuma Bwaga, Ambassador Bwaga, yesterday, we made several donations to some of our health centers across the country. And the CPP Solidarity Brigade, in the coming days, we are going to buy some medical equipment to have it distributed to our various health centers. Why it is true, we are in this crisis due to the irresponsibility of the government, because the government not neglected the RIA, that Adeniko Airport, by allowing of foreign guys from what's the name of the country, Bangladesh and the rest of the countries to come in our country without testing them. We would have gotten into this mess. So we are into this mess today because of the government's unlaziness. So the current opposition bloc is responsible. We are helping the government. And the Ghana Commons of the ANC, the chairman emeritus of the CPP, last week gave the government of Liberia $123 million Liberian dollars. We are responsible opposition. And I asked myself, why didn't they reject that money? Senator, they don't give 7,000 United States dollars to them. They said they were going to reject it, but they didn't reject it. So you see how the government is irresponsible? The opposition bloc is responsible. So you see here, we are responsible people and will do everything possible in order to protect our citizens from danger.
Baron,
the government.
Baron, are you guys Baron, are you guys also submitting to taking some doses of the vaccine?
Yes, we have done that. As a leader of the brigade, I did that, and I published that on Facebook, calling on our supporters, to take the vaccine. And GMB, Cummings, all of our political leaders, they did that. The only person who refused to have done that or to play that leadership role is Georgia, the president of the country. We don't know. I mean, leaders must lead by example. The Ghanaian president, Nana Addo Akufo, he just did his. Other African leaders, only Georgia who has refused to do his, we just don't know. So you see, we in the opposition bloc, we are responsible people. We are leading by example.
Now, Baron, back to the issue of the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. On yesterday, Senator Prince Yomin Johnson, who was initially chairing the Senate Committee on National Defense and Intelligence, he resigned his post and as a way of showing more transparency in establishing the code. Do you see the resignation of Senator Johnson as a boost for the establishment of this code?
Let me say kudos to the American government. Had it not been for the pressure that was mounted on our panelists and senators, that could not happen. Prince Johnson killed Doe. Prince Johnson did all kinds of things in this country. He killed babies. He killed our mothers and our brothers in this country. He took such a man and made him chair on defense. So you see, we are shameless. So I think his resignation, and I want to go beyond that. Not only for Prince Johnson to resign as committee chair, he should muster the courage to resign as senator of Nima County or not to run again. And that's what I want him to do. He has blood on his hands. He's not a good man. But this is the best friend of George Yaddo. This is the best one of the president. So you see, so I think his resignation is belated. It's a slap in the face of the legislature and those senators who give him the power to be the chair of that identical committee, and want to say shame on them. Kudos to people like you. Kudos to our Liberian brothers and sisters who spoke against his nomination. Congratulations to the American government. Had it not been for the intervention of the American government, you know, this country, our leaders don't have integrity. This is the only country, to the best of our knowledge. If you are a leader and you are wicked, rude, corrupt, I mean, the people can let you. That's how our country is today. If Liberia was a civilized country, it is Prince Johnson will be senator around. You think John will be representative? But because we don't have integrity, this is the only country that a lawmaker or a leader or a minister can be called red-handed student. You will publish that information instead of you taking that minister to court, you will take it to court. See, County Barbara, County at the LSCC, we published an information that County was involved in the scandal. Where is County today? He still has that position. He occupies that position as we speak. So the country is structured in a way that the bad ones have been at the last, while the good ones have been vilified. You think if Liberia was a civilized country, Prince Johnson would be senator? And today, you still have the governing party doing business with Prince Johnson. He goes on Facebook and present himself like a good man, but he's a bad man. The man will take mandatory PT. You wear CDC barrier and post on Facebook. Then you see citizens glorifying such a man. You think this country is a serious manner country? Liberia is not a serious manner country. But listen to me. We are not going to give up on our country. We will keep fighting. We believe that one day we will get there. In just a matter of time, other countries are making progress. Look at Rwanda. Look at Rwanda. Have you seen the tremendous gains that Rwanda is making? But Rwanda didn't get there because they had a good president, but because those who participated in a civil crisis, they were booted out. Look at Sierra Leone. Look at other countries, how they are making progress. In our country, we shoot bad people. We vilify the good ones. But listen to me. Very soon, our country will get better. I can see change coming. And very soon, we will get there.
Now, Baron, the Unity Party is one of the constituent parties within the collaborating political party. Of course, a party which held a national power for, 12 years. Some of these things you are highlighted today, they did not materialize during the Unity Party-led government. And the Unity Party is one of the constituent parties within the CPP. How do you relate this?
No, as the president of that group, the Greater Unity Party, 80%. That's a passing mark. Didn't George just say that when they asked him, what be a person given to Alex Johnson in terms of governance? He said 80, I think 80 or 90. So you see, look, let me tell you something. I'm not going to sit there to say when Unity Party was governing this country, everything was okay. They too had their lapses.
Okay.
I didn't work in Unity Party government. I was one of the, critics of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's regime. I criticized Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Some of the guys who are in Unity Party today, who are our friends, I rebuke them constructively. But if you are to measure the gains a Unity Party government made to that of George on the way Unity Party governed our country for 12 years and the way Georgia is governing this country, you just do your own comparison. Activate your telephone lines. And if you activate your telephone lines, if you get 10 callers to say we satisfied with we as leadership, never ever you invite me on this show. Don't take me as a serious banded man. Don't respect me again in the political landscape of our country. The government of Georgia is a complete disaster. Acting Unity Party government or 10 times better than what we have here today.
So now, Baron, of recent, legislators of capital building received 15,000 United States dollars each for what they term as legislative engagement, of which, your CPP lawmakers were no exception. What do you make of this in the wake of the COVID pandemic?
To me, it was not necessary, although the money was legitimate.
Okay.
But when we are fighting a major crisis, for each lawmaker to take home 15,000, I think it was unfair, especially in a poverty-stricken country like ours. When our health sector is bad, the GFK that was once celebrated as a shining star in West Africa doesn't have an oxygen. When our babies, our mothers, our brothers and sisters are dying due to lack of medicine at GFK. Giving one man 15,000, I think it was that on the part of the executive branch. That's why you see, we from the angle of the people, we took onto Facebook and we just asked constructively, we just asked Senator Dedon. When Senator Dedon, being a good leader, he came on Facebook, he said, okay, we have to listen to the people. And he took 7,000 of his money. He gave it to the health sector, all health practitioners and the Ministry of Health. He bought oxygen. He have made more donations. But you know what Syrian lawmakers are doing as a speak? Akaras Gray is in the UAE enjoying himself. Yesterday he posted a picture on Eastern where he said, and I yet came and said, I will enjoy. Sir Joseph, all these people, they have theirs. And why would the CPP leaders are giving back? Look at here, here's Kazulu, this representative Kazulu. He told his former money, he said, I'm going to be a bridge. That's good. All the lawmakers are doing that. Yombi Kanga Lawrence, her foundation is giving back to the people of Pembrokeshire County, helping the people in the fight with this whole Ebola crisis. Where are the lawmakers of CDC? They took their 15,000 and made public outcry. They still have their 15,000 enjoying themselves. When our people are galloping in hardship, it is unfortunate, my brother.
Well, folks, this morning our guest is Baron Brown. He's the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade. Of course, you hear him there talking about national issues this morning. So those of you following the Brush Morning Talk, we'd like to say welcome. Thank you for joining us this bright Wednesday morning here in the nation's capital, Monrovia. So those of you following the conversation, we can begin listening to your reactions as we hold on the line our guest this morning. And Chairman Baron will be taking note of your comments and questions as well. We can begin to take your calls this morning on 0776360979, 0776360979 again, 0776360979, 0880346169, 0880346169. 0776360979, 0880346179. Good morning, caller. What's the name and where have you called from? Good morning. What's the name, sir, and where have you called from?
Okay, this is Elijah Kamara calling you from Buka.
Elijah, go ahead. You listening to Baron Brown. I guess you following the conversation. Let's hear you.
Okay, as listening relatively to our honorable studio there, I want to congratulate you so much. But the question I want to ask you is, he kept referring to our president, George Weah. So, if he accepted the power, when us not be honored to him or to his candidates, and even with the current president or even no title honor to our president,
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Keep listening. Chairman Baron Brown will respond to that. 0776360979 again. 0776360979 0880346169. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sir. What's the name and where have you joined us from? Yes, go ahead, Chief. Let's hear your view this morning.
I want to appreciate the video again for the elaboration. For my friend, after doing, they're talking about leadership, good leadership. And, generally, the best thing I have to say he doesn't know what to call leadership. Because if you will be talking to a corporate president, the fact that let's say, just that, and then when he meets the senator, to go to talk to the senator, the way I would do this something.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that was okay. So yeah, so on the flip side of the title, I think there were lots of national issues. What? Mm. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much and keep listening to the program. Our guests will definitely respond to all of the concerns this morning. 0776360979 again. 0776. Good morning, sir. What's the name? Go ahead, sir. Talk your own. Forget about what that caller said and go to the issue. Sir, when you go to the issue, forget about what the previous caller said. Go to the issue. Mhm. Okay, Chief. Thank you for your input this morning. Thank you for your input. Very shortly, we'll go over to our guest, but we can take more calls. 0776360979. Good morning. Good morning, Chief. What's the name and where have you come from? Wonderful. I guess you follow the conversation. Let's hear you. That time at time, Okay, Chief. Thank you. Yeah, we got a point this morning. Thank you very much. Your point is that when they were in opposition, specifically, one of their constituents party, we as the Unity Party, when they were in position, they did not plead for, they did not make the establishment of the War Crimes Code an accomplishment. But we take few other calls as we go over to our guest briefly. Just two calls. We can squeeze in two calls. Good morning. We're doing pretty well. What's the name and where have you come from? Go ahead. You following the conversation. Go ahead. Thank you very much. We can take our final call and go over to our guests to wrap up this morning. 0776360979. 0776360979. We can have this person quickly. Good morning. Good morning, sir. What's the name and where you join the conversation from this morning? Yeah, you got to be a bit audible, sir. We are not getting you too clear. Okay, go ahead. Make a point. Okay, Chief. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. And Chairman Byron, hope you are there. You listened to our callers this morning. The first batch of callers were so keen, Why is it you are saying George Weah instead of President George Manneh Weah?
I want to say a very big thank you to all of the callers. Here's the thing. This is how we grow our own monster in Africa, or dictators in Africa. In America, the American citizens are now on a statutory mandate. There's no provision under our constitution that obliges me to call George Weah president. It is at my own discretion. I can use that. In America, they can look at Donald Trump, the former president, or Joe Biden, the current president, and they call him Mr. Joe Biden. Even in the Congress, when the congressional leaders are debating issues,
But Baron, you did not say Mr. George Weah, though.
No. But listen, Mr. One time where I have to pour out of there, President Beku Bear, I know Zegose, Sakose, all the things, it's a waste of time. That's his name, Trump.
But you say Senator Dow's the law.
The only thing you shouldn't do to a leader is to insult him. Now, if you are to refer to me as Baron Brown, that's my name. You are not only demanded to say Baron Brown. No! You don't force people to call you by your title. No! Educationally, academically. It is not in our constitution. The security protocol says you can chastise the president intellectually. But what you can do is to assault the president. You can look at the president and say, George Weah. Nobody will tell you to jail for that. In America, they can look at Joe Biden. American citizens on CNN, political commentators. They will look at Joe Biden, they say Joe Biden, president, they'll say Joe Biden. If you want to call him president of the United States, that's your business. But serious-minded leaders around the world, you can look at them and say, well, Hugo Chavez. You can look at Condoleezza Rice and call Baoni. That only elaborate when you call somebody and say, oh, that Bishop, you know, they will say, oh, they will not respect people. That's how we look in Liberia. You know, you don't force people to honor you. Does that mean that Georgia is not my president if I call him Georgia? Even if I call him Georgia, he's still my president. So it's a complete waste of time. So that for each time when you ask me, I'll say President Georgia, it's repetition. I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
I will never do that.
Okay, Baron, let's move to the next issue. One of the constituent parties, the Unity Party, you know, held state power for 12, you know, unbreakable years. And the issue of establishing one economic crimes court in the mind of some of the colors, they said, but then, you know, the UN troops were present, but then, you know, Liberia was stable than now. You know, Liberia is experiencing a kind of fragile security sector right now, but then we have approximately about 15,000 troops. You did not make this as an accomplishment. Why not?
No, I think it would be unfair to the president of the Republic of Liberia. George Weah is on record. Okay, President George Weah, I mean, help me with all the women content, right? President George Weah is on record. When he addressed the United Nations General Assembly, he said that Liberia is safe under my watch as president of the Republic of Liberia. He said that. Didn't you listen to George Weah? Didn't you hear him? He said that. So, what more security does he want? The country is safe. We've been down the last 16 years plus. What more safety you want? Nobody is greater than the country. And let me tell you something. This debate is beyond the control of the president. We will torment this man politically. We will torment him politically. Politically, we are going to make his life miserable to give us justice. We want Prince Johnson. We want War Crimes Code. Period. And George Weah as president, he has no control over this. If he refuses, there will be sanctions, and we will call for smart sanctions. I said smart sanctions. You will not have the opportunity, you and your government officials, to travel out of this country. You will not have opportunity to save in foreign banks. If the need arises, your families who are in the diaspora and other civilized countries will be deported. They will strangulate your government if the need arises, just for us to get justice.
Baron, don't you think this would affect the very people you try to advocate for?
That's why I said smart sanction. You know, I can be very mindful when I'm speaking. I said smart sanction. You'll be done smartly. It is not going to affect the people. It will affect the president. Georgia get money in foreign banks. They will seize it. They will confiscate it. Some can travel, your government officials can travel. Where do they go? When they say where do they go? They go Ghana. They go to civilized countries around the world. When you just say, where do you go? You go to GFK, that hospital that is in Rome. When they are saying, where do they go? They go to powerful nations. So they will not be able to go to seek medication abroad. That's the smart sanction I'm talking about. It is not going to affect the ordinary people, but it is going to support Georgia and his clinics.
Well, Aaron, we trying to wind down because time is not in our favor this morning. And as we wrap up, you could just give up a synopsis, in other words, a summary of all what you said.
I want to say a very big thank you. And there's no way George is going to be re-elected as president of this country. He knows that he's a one-term president. That's why he and his friends, they are building mansions, upon mansions for themselves. They are appointed more in the shortest period because they are aware that they will not be re-elected by the people. So we want to guarantee all members of the CPP and those on the fence that want to come over. I'm calling on you to come over. The CPP is the best alternative for this country. When we take over this country, you will not be forced to get buried before you can get a job. When we take over this country, we are going to give you justice. When we take over this country, we are going to replace or rebrand the image, the lost image of our country back on the international forum. Today, under the watch of Georgia, our country is a laughing stock. Nobody respects us anymore. If you are to travel, go to civilized nations, and some of your friends will ask you, where do you come from? You say, I'm from Liberia, you will laugh. I don't for football as president. You start to talk about the 16 billion, the 25 billion, the bump up exercise. The president flies private jet on a daily basis. He believes in wasteful spending. Those are things that your counterparts, they talk about. They bullet us. So the CPP is the best alternative. We will have a civilized government. Companies will come in this country to provide more jobs. That our brothers and sisters will not have to be winner player before they can put food on our table. We are going to do it differently. We will lead by examples. And our leaders have committed themselves to this stronghold. I want to call on all members of the CPP to give into the perception that it's not possible that Georgia will be defeated. It has happened in all civilized African countries. Liberia is no exception. It happened in Peter Mutharika's case and Joe Bena of Malawi. A certain president got defeated. It happened with Adama Barrow, Gambia, who was defeated by this man. Adama Barrow defeated Yahya Jammeh. That's history. So nobody should tell you that Georgia will win us. Example, you saw how we massively defeated his candidate in Monserrado County and other counties. The people are. So we are going to take this country back. We will reconcile this country. When we come to power, whether you are a CDC member, you will get job on the basis of qualification and your competency, not on the basis of wearing red barrier or to take the president's picture to go on Facebook and say, we're strong. That's the only way you can get job. No, the CPP government will be a civilized government. We are coming to teach the narrative for the betterment of this country. And I want to say a very big thank you to this station. And this is one of the best stations in this country. And I want to tell all of the listeners that I'm not going to take my words back. I remain unapologetic for referring to Georgia. Georgia, we're all not calling him president. It's not an insult. Georgia is his name. I'm not on no constitutional mandate to call him president. And I'm calling on all of our supporters. It is not a disrespect to call him Georgia, Don't just insult him as president. No, don't do that. You never get my backing. Don't insult him. Don't insult him. But refer to him as George Weah.
Okay, Baron. Thank you, and thank you very much for joining us on the breakfast table this morning. It's a pleasure having you. Have yourself a very good day, Baron.
Thank you.
Well, that's the voice of the chairman of the CPP Solidarity Brigade, Chairman Baron. And of course, folks, you hear him this morning, discussing lots of national issues in relations to the governance processes of our nation as well. And this morning, you've been listening to the Brush Morning Talk. This is our Info Breakfast Companion show. This is our Breakfast Morning Magazine program right here on the Brush Communication Service Incorporated. The frequency is 94.7 megahertz. We broadcast live on Brush TV and SEM TV, respectively. And the team returns tomorrow. The team returns tomorrow at 8 o'clock up to 10 o'clock with another fascinating edition of the Brush Morning Talk. Until we meet, interact and exchange ideas. God's waiting. They're going to be on tomorrow. We have been James Yegerson Folkband
And Frank Pitt Martin.
Have yourself a very good day. Bye-bye from Central Monrovia.